morning. I'm a little bit early today. Yesterday I felt like I was a little bit late. So today it's going to be the opposite. Yeah, I'm back. Great to be back. Welcome everyone who joins the stream or who sees it later. I appreciate that you are watching that stuff, that you are commenting, that you're liking, these little signals that social media values that succeed on social media, and I'm seeing it on my channel. So thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's been a cold night. I had huge icicles on the greenhouses. I was out in the greenhouses just now, and temperature was somewhere around freezing point, and it's snowing again. We might get another layer of snow. DHL didn't come. I had set up a pickup date and they didn't come. And I'm really frustrated with them. So I consider just doing a snow expedition to bring the books somewhere to a post office. And yeah, we'll see. I'm not sure, but it could happen. And I'm walking really badly. So that means a lot when I'm really considering to take a package to the post office. But DHL has become, they have great people. Like recently, I had someone that delivered to my door, and it was a huge package. So they have great people, but every now and then they only come once a week now. And when it's extreme weather, like right now, they are missing the pickup dates. And I don't like that. I hate when people are waiting for the books. So yeah, I consider going out into the white, endless snow to bring that thing to the post office. Yeah, apart from that, yesterday I got new shoes, 2 pairs of new shoes, and that is also a big thing for the channel. I've been filming the whole season with the most wrecked shoes that you can imagine. Really wrecked. But I said I will wear these until they fall apart. And it's basically happening now. So I got 2 new pair of shoes. And yeah, it's a big thing. I wanted to give loyalty to my old shoes. There was something like from my old life that I had before that. So I at least wanted to wear them until they fell apart. And that, yeah, I will keep them just for memory's sake. But yeah, they're done now. I need something new. Apart from that, might have to remove snow again later from the sidewalk, stuff like that. And I have a lot of problems with that, with everything muscles. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, welcome to the stream, guys. I am drying the containers from yesterday. Yesterday I brought a bunch of seedling containers that did not germinate. And those were cactus seeds, different kind of cactus seeds. And I opened them to let them dry out. Some of them are already dry. And once the others have all dried up pretty thoroughly, I want to try another cycle, another germination cycle. And we will do that together on the channel. For now, they need a little bit longer. I'll just check them. Wanted to see if I can maybe bring them in the stream, but doesn't seem like it. The vegetables, nothing has come up yet. So this is just a cactus stream today. And I'm going through the seedlings. So yeah, welcome everyone. Great to have you around. It's winter time for a cactus breeder. And it's not great. There's snow everywhere. The greenhouses are covered. And yeah, everything's delayed. DHL delivery delayed. Like I said, they come once a week, if at all. And I'm just happy when we're in March or something like that. I would love to fast forward But on the other hand, having a little snow here and there, it's also nice. Spend a lot of time outside with Kami and Mika today and yesterday already. So yeah, these here, check them out. Looking good, but the soil is so dry, it's a fine line. I really need to keep an eye on these, because the drier the soil is, the more likely it can happen that the more likely it is that you will have problems. Like dehydration at some point just becomes a thing, and I wouldn't really want to press it too much. Every now and then a little bit of water goes a long way. For now, this is okay. And now we're getting to the point when they need nutrients. It can happen that seedlings just run out of energy, run out of nutrients in the soil. So we will probably have to do something there. I'm thinking about using organic fertilizer, but the fertilizer that I used, I wasn't happy with it. I just felt like it is missing micronutrients. It is missing stuff that the real fertilizer does have. It has a pH buffer, so you would have to set the pH level separately all the time. I'm just worried that with the organic fertilizer, it will screw with the pH level. Because that is something that I saw with this particular organic fertilizer. And then it was missing certain micronutrients at the same time too. So yeah, but these are looking great. And welcome to my stream, guys. Great to have you around. Might do a little bit shorter stream today if I decide to walk to the post office. But these are looking great. This is actually a perfect example of healthy looking seedlings. I really like that. Reinhard Liske, mother plant, Uwe Kahle hybrid cross between Gräsers Erfolg Selbstbestäubung Cantora and Bamboy. That's a great cross that is top notch, state of the art. It just remains to be seen if the mother here, the Gräser hybrid, is not self-fertile. We'll see. But if you can get the flower of Bamboy into a ruffled hybrid, then you are really having something of unseen quality. Really way ahead. You have ruffles, you have color, you have size. And the flower of Bamboy stays open 3 days or something like that. At least it was like that for me the one time I saw it. Okay. Looking great. Can feel the tiny spines here. But apart from that, they are looking great. They are growing. Healthy looking seedlings, no fungus gnat. A dream. A real dream. Okay. In the last 2 streams, I don't think we have seen fungus gnats. It can happen again. It will probably happen again, because at some point one will get in somewhere, but I think we got it under control. And I don't want to be too overly optimistic, but it's looking good. So these here, I see that I had started a new trial, like a new cycle, new germination cycle. These hadn't come up in the beginning, but now I've watered this thing again, and you can see the first 2 seedlings coming up. Oh, and a fungus gnat, I think, right? Yeah. See, it was supposed to happen right now. Welcome to the fungus gnat channel. Let's close this up again, but this isn't looking good. I can just tell you that the seedlings are too small to transplant them now. So we will have to wait until they are a little bit bigger, I'm not seeing that these would survive when they have to be transplanted. I don't think that would work. So I give them a little bit longer. Just hope that the fungus gnat will not eat the seedling. We'll see. Okay, next one. These are looking good, looking great, great looking seedlings. Check it out. Little bit too deep. It's what I always say with these. And there were quite a few. I think what the idea behind it was that I wanted to save some soil, and it's usually a bad idea to do it like that. Just taking something out here. I just saw that there's a tiny insect, but it's no longer alive. So whatever it was, it has expired. If it would still be alive, I would take it out of the container. I always try to, when I see something is living in there, I try to take it out. I don't want them to be in there in a closed bag. So every time I see something, I usually take it out. But in this case, the guy's good, you know, not an issue anymore. Okay, so this one, this was one of the chestnuts that I tried sowing out. I'm not sure. I really think I need to put this outside, giving it some little bit cold winter. I'm sure, I have a good feeling chestnuts could need a little winter phase to induce the germination. So I'm putting this aside. I need to remember putting it out into the garden. Okay, next one. Or maybe I will put it in the freezer. That could work too. And it is a little bit more controlled than when you just put a container outside. At some point, the plastic bag would get holes, and that would be bad. Okay. Yeah, very young. So far, so good. Most of them look all right. Lubivia of some sort. Winteriana, I think. Right? No, Zechary. Lubivia Zechary and Sörensia candicans hybrid. That is a good hybrid. See a lot of potential there, but it also has a fair amount of tiny seedlings that look unalive. Not alive, really. They came up, they germinated, but that is it. I don't think they will grow. But overall, I see a good 12 seedlings that we might be able to save long term. So that is great. Okay. Next one. And welcome to the stream, guys. Great to have you around. Everything is a little bit snowed in here. Cold winter. Snowing again. Might get snowed in again. And I consider going to the post office if necessary. Because DHL is just too unreliable at the moment. Hey, mate. Welcome to the stream. Great to have you around. So, yeah, these are looking good. This is some sort of a interesting seedling container. I have a few, like, this is one of two that I've sown out. And the seedlings have an interesting discoloration. Apart from that, they are all growing, not seeing any losses. So I will close it up again right away. Don't really want to lose anything here. I don't want to have a fungus gnat find their way in. Okay, next one. Okay, yeah, these are in washed pumice, and it's okay. I've seen worse. Here's a seedling that looks a little bit too deep, potted too deep. The others need correction. Just trying to get them into the soil deep enough that they will not move too much with in the washed pumice, because pumice is kind of a roundish mineral. Not roundish, but you know, it has this kind of light pebble-like structure, and it just tends to move around when you do something with it. Every time you move a seedling, you also have the pumice move. Okay. Yeah, did a bunch of corrections. Just now I really did bad. I pierced the seedling with the pencil. Okay, yeah, when it's very, very sharp, that can happen. In this case, that was probably bad. That could actually result in loss of seedling. Closing it up now. I just hope that the seedling will be all right. But if you want my general recommendation, don't pierce the seedlings with a pencil. It's not good. So, next ones. Also in washed pumice. Also looking okay. They have humidity. But just one look into this, and I realize we need to take them out of the humidity. I can't zoom in, otherwise I would do that. But there are a bunch of seedlings that look like the top layer of the skin has been attacked. Like where there were little micro injuries on the seedlings. You can really see that sometimes when you see little tiny scars on the seedling. And in this case, it's probably also follow-up damage from the fungus gnat. So we need to take it out right away. If you would leave them in the closed bag, it would just, these wounds would become infected. The moment you have an open wound in one of these closed bags, like we have here to grow the cactus seedlings, it will lead to an infection, almost certainly. It's just the higher the humidity, the more likely it is that this will happen. So we're taking them out now just so that the wounds can heal. The wounds themselves, they can heal. They aren't really a huge problem. The huge problem is just having a wound in high humidity. So I'm taking it out, and I will spray the seedlings, and I will have to spray the seedlings because this is now a very fast draining medium. And that is the problem. That's exactly the problem that you have with pumice. Then when you have to take it out, you have to guarantee that the seedlings are somewhat humid. You need to spray them all the time because the medium is so fast draining. The water just runs through. So yeah, but we have to do it. I also have sowing soil now, so we might be able to transplant in that. For now, I will move this under the plant lamp. Just this, like the way it used to be in the closed bag, but under the lamp. And I just hope that I can fill up enough water all the time, that the seedlings don't dehydrate. And I really want to stress that I've been carefully moving this thing around, and there's pumice already everywhere. Pumice is just something that will always come out of the pots. You will knock one over, that kind of stuff, and I always try to remove it because it's a mineral and you can breathe it in. I don't want it on my table everywhere, you know. Keeping the workplace clean. But that is why I like to work with organic soil at the moment. And I've done a complete turnaround. I would say it's 180. I think that's a complete turnaround, right? Like not in the same direction again. I'm doing completely the opposite now. I used to have very complex soil mixes with minerals and that kind of stuff. Today I'm going back to the basics. Sowing soil very often produces the best results. So yeah, and you know, you can handle it without soil falling out too easily. At least when the soil isn't dry. So here's another one. This time, this was the cemetery soil that we tested, and they are looking good. Good and healthy looking seedlings. I like that. Closing it up again. Don't want to have the fungus gnat get to them. And these are Lobivia winteriana hybrid. Lobivia winteriana crossed with Saarwellen. Saarwellen is a hybrid by Rolf Autenried. Classic columnar and Opera Panda kind of plant as a father. I think they called it Echinopsis calorubra at the time. But calorubra, it's just a form of Echinopsis Opera Panda. So, yeah. And that kind of cross produces great results reliably. Okay. Great to have you guys around, by the way. Thank you for always participating in my stream. I love it. Check these out. They're looking good. Really healthy looking seedlings. Not seeing any problems, not seeing little bites here and there. So I will close this up again. And this is Uwe Kahle hybrid. The mother of this hybrid here is called OTO. Otto. I'm not sure what it means. It could be a city. Uwe Kahle, when he names his plants, he often uses African cities. Like he loves to go to Ghana, and he often uses these kinds of names. So this could just be a town in Ghana. I'm not sure. I have no idea. But OTO is the hybrid name. Maybe I will see that at some point. But so far, I haven't. I usually, Uwe Kahle makes so many hybrid crosses that I usually hear from him with just a list of great new hybrids that he has, and they are all great. And you could just, without seeing them, you can trust that they are great and you can sow them out. That's how I treat the seeds by Uwe. It's just a great breeder. And he will not breed for many more years. Like, I'm sure at some point he will retire. And yeah, it's great to have them right now. Great to get them growing. There will be amazing stock later on for the other crosses that I want to do. I need a lot of these hybrids to have a diverse range of crosses that we can do. I don't want to have the classic Cantora hybrids all the time. I want to go into another direction. So yeah, these are in washed pumice, and it's going good with them. But they need nutrients now. This is a medium. When you put them into washed pumice, they are basically not getting nutrients. It's a relatively neutral kind of pH level. And yeah, there's not a lot in it. They can kind of take in minerals. There's a pretty decent mineral availability with pumice, but we need to fill it with something that gives them energy. Okay. In this one, yeah, it's good and bad. The seedlings are okay. You can see that there's a difference in regards to the green color. Maybe some variegation in a bit of a moss thing going on there. Not a lot, but just enough to bother me. Here's a seedling that has the root exposed, leaning over a little, and I try to correct that. I don't want to have the roots so easily accessible. If you have a fungus gnat in there, it will go straight to those roots and have a lunch. So maybe let's make it a little bit more difficult for them. Okay. He's going to the other side. I believe these had been contaminated from what I remember from yesterday when I put these aside. I try not to reuse the plastic bags when there was a contamination, like a fungal infection or fungus gnat, you know, because there's always soil that collects at the bottom and you can still have them in there in that bag. So reusing the bag, I'm only doing it when there was no problem at all. And I'm trying to reuse as many as I can. Knowing recycling, the importance of using all your, what you have carefully, not being excessive. So I try to reuse what I can. But once you have something like a fungal infection, or once you have mealybug eggs or larvae in there, at that point, it makes no sense. Okay, so in this one, the one thing that stands out is that there are not enough seedlings. I look into a half empty container like this and I get really frustrated. Why are you like this? I mean, let's have a look at the type of seed that this was. I want to see if this is maybe viability issues or genetic issues, could be age, over-aged seeds. Yeah, this is Echinopsis glauca. And this was older seeds. So that is the answer. Seeds were, I think, from 2023. I believe 2023. And right now I see 2 seedlings and a third one that is tiny. So the tiny one, maybe it will come, maybe not. Maybe it will just go into the wind again. The 2 that are here, they look okay, but variegated. They look a little bit variegated. I hate that. Again, why are you like that? I would love to have. This is one of the plants that had amazing flowers that blew me away this year, and I want to see offspring from it. And those are often the crosses that turn out the worst, the ones that you really want to work. And in this case, this was with a Gräser, with a Gräser hybrid as father. Gräser's Erfolg-Selbstbestäubung and Cantora was the father, and Echinopsis glauca the mother. So I will close this thing up. Try to just avoid that it gets contaminated. Maybe we will get more seedlings. I will move this to the heater again. I'm not happy with how few seedlings that we have there. This is just not enough. When you have a cross like this, it has to work in the beginning, because if you fail to induce the germination in the first month, then the chance that you will have more seedlings from that cross, it goes down and down and down, because eventually you will focus on the seedlings that you have, in this case 1 or 2, and you just don't have the conditions to induce viability anymore, like germination. Because if you really want to do a second germination cycle, you would have to let it dry out completely, and that is bad for the 2 seedlings that you already have. So I really try to, when I have them in humidity, and in the beginning, I really try to really make it stick. They need to come up now. So this will go to the heater again. I will give it another chance. I want to see more seedlings, because you got to see it from the point that it will use a lot of space for just 2 tiny seedlings. 1 seedling can be enough if you get a large plant from it, but you also lose a lot of seedlings, and there's a high chance that due to the variegation that these have, They might not even make it long term. Okay, this one, perfect. Chef's kiss, nice. Looking great. I'm not sure if you can, if it's sharp, but the seedlings look great. Nice spines, really good. From a hybrid cross by Uwe Kahle with Bamboy. I love that. I really love that. Thinking of Bamboy and having like 50 seedlings like that, I really like the idea. Bamboy was so good, was such a great hybrid. I need more of that. I had a chat with Uwe about Bamboy, and he said that it kind of replaced Wörlitz Cantora for him. Wörlitz Cantora, like pink stripes, you know. It's a classic combination, a winning combination, but it also has a high rate of plants that are just mediocre. Strong purple flower, but nothing else. Big purple flower, but still always the same kind of color. So yeah, and with Bamboy hybrids that go into a similar direction, but also are different, you just get better flowers. Okay. I don't know. I'm not convinced. I don't like it. They look tiny. And there are 1 or 2 seedlings that are so small that they might as well not be there. None of those super tiny seedlings will make it. I can already tell you that. I will give them a chance. I really don't try to be overly harsh on, due to genetic health and that kind of stuff. Because you can't really just like judge a plant based on genetic health alone. Some hybrids are genetically troubled to the highest degree, but they are great when you see them in front of you. When you see the flower, like Super Apricot, you see the flower and it's beautiful. Super Apricot is a hybrid. It looks great on every photo. It looks great in every video. But if you would, it is a mess. If it could talk, it would just talk gibberish. You know, that is Super Apricot. So very often the offspring that comes from it, tiny seedlings that often don't have a chance, you know. And in this case, it's somewhere in between. This is Teleflora, another candidate like Super Apricot. Not the same, but also intergeneric hybrid between Sörensia and, or in this case it was Trichocereus and Echinopsis, you know. The father of Teleflora is Echinopsis irisi grandiflora, also an Echinopsis, and that kind of cross is just apparently a little bit more. Sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't work. And when it doesn't work, it's a range. It doesn't work in the sense that you get no seedling, or you get sickly looking seedlings that you might have to graft. In this case, it's probably that. I've been constantly removing seedlings out of this thing that weren't making it, that weren't really looking like it's going anywhere. You know, they just disappear eventually. And when that happens, you can just take them out right away. You can see it a good couple of weeks before it will actually happen, before you will lose them. But since they are so small, they don't pose a huge risk to the whole container. Even if one of them starts a fungal infection, they probably don't even have organic material, organic mass to keep an infection going. So I would just close this up again. Maybe they will look healthier when I start fertilizing them. These could have some sort of a nutrient situation. So I will fertilize sometime soon. And I'm still not sure what kind of fertilizer. I love the idea of doing everything organically. But then again, that organic fertilizer that I had was really trash. it was really trash. Either that or the fertilizer was just, I don't know, it changed the pH level. I never had pH problems unless I've been using organic fertilizer. And then you have a fertilizer that might not even have all the micronutrients in it that the other fertilizer has. Like I'm currently using one, and it has a pH buffer in it, and that already saves you a lot of work just to have the pH level at a constant range. No matter what happens to the soil, the pH level is still all right. At some point, you have to repot, but it saves you a long time where you would have to repot otherwise. A lot earlier. So these are looking good again. One or two with reddish tips. I'm not sure why. I mean, they are the biggest, the tallest. So maybe they are getting a little bit more light than the others. But it could also be some sort of a genetic thing that some seedlings react differently to light, have a little bit lower tolerance against sunlight. We'll see. And when I say sunlight, this was a plant lamp, but apparently it was enough to cause a reaction. In this container, it's a nightmare. The washed pumice is just it moves too much. The seedlings fall over by just moving the container around. So next time this will go into sowing soil again. Now that we got rid of the fungus gnats, I'm a lot more comfortable with sowing soil again. And I will try to keep everything dry. I don't know, this looks like the cat has already slept on it again. This really looks like Kami might have slept on it. Not one seedling has contact with the soil. And it wasn't like that when I left this container. I wouldn't do it like that. So either Kami slept on it or I was dreaming while I was handling it. By the way, I need to complain. So this week I'm watching a lot of sports because right now everything else on television is crap. I can't really watch television anymore because there's so much. I don't know. I can't really watch the normal television anymore. So I've been watching football, like soccer football, and they had increased the price dramatically in the last months, like in the last year. Price is now 51.50, and for me, I don't have a lot of money. That is insane. And yesterday or last few days, they started taking stuff off the service. They removed all kinds of shows that I wanted to that I watched: The Sopranos, The Wire, True Detective, all the good shows. The only good shows that I was watching, and I was watching them repeatedly. You know, like, I don't know, maybe it's a little bit of autism that's involved there. So I need to watch them in the same kind of order. And now they are not there anymore because they are probably because of the sale, the Warner Brothers sale to Netflix. So they've been taking them off the stream. And for $50, what happened is they increased the price and removed content. And now they are offering that content again as a bonus, as an add-on. I got a message saying I could pay for it if I want to access that content, you know. So yeah, that is the future, and I really don't like it. I really don't like it. I was really mad this week. It's not, I understand that Warner Brothers and that kind of stuff, you know, I mean, that sale happened. The ownership of these shows, of HBO and all those shows, it changed. I understand that. But it's really sad that we're living in a time where they continuously decrease the quality of something and raise the price. I really, I don't know. Maybe I'm too naive. It just really bothered me this week. Yesterday I had, like, you know, when you want to go online to just roast a company, I had to take a step back at the beginning because I really wanted to roast them. And eventually I kind of wrote something, but it was a lot more milder than what I had actually planned. I really hate I really hate the future right now. The current time with the media landscape and everything, I don't like it. It's not that I have problems with Netflix owning Warner. Not at all. It's just so you have this huge company that owns so much, you know, and there's no more that there's competition on the market. That is what bothers me. In the past, we used to have more competition, and right now, this isn't looking good for the whole media landscape, for the film industry in general, or for television productions in general. So yeah, the older I get, the angrier I get. I just can't turn it off. It's just part of my programming, maybe. I don't know. And you grow up with something that you know it that way. You've seen it, you know what was good about it, you know what was bad about it. And then you grow up and the world changes all around you. So many things that you see become worse, where you feel like, okay, back then when I was younger, it was better. It was a better system. And I'm not against technical progress. I'm not against times changing. I understand all that. I just feel like maybe we shouldn't continuously decrease everything, the quality of everything, until it's, I don't know. So yeah, that was my day yesterday. So this is a seedling container with washed pumice. Got to talk about pumice, otherwise I'm getting angry again. And yeah, here's a seedling that I want to take out. It just looks bad. Looks bad altogether. Has a hole in the side and probably fungus gnat related hole. I don't think you can see it. No, but it's a tiny hole. And once you have a tiny hole, I just don't think this is going to work. We could take the whole container out of the washed pumice now, but it's just too fast draining right now. So I would close it up again. Just try to save a bunch of the seedlings that don't look good here. And the most common problem is the root system. Root system is just very vulnerable, and it often, like fungus gnats, they attack the roots first. Fungus gnats seem to be a much bigger problem than people think, than I originally thought. A lot of people have messaged me saying they have problems with fungus gnats too. So yeah, I don't know. I consider taking it out of humidity. But then again, you always have to water all the time. Sometimes it's good when you have it in a bag. The water stays in there. So you don't have to water all the time. But on the other hand, every little wound that these seedlings have will turn into an infection. I will close it up again. I just don't think that we would have higher chances when I take these out. I don't. I look at them. They look like they need more humidity than they can get right now. Then I could give them outside the bag so they stay in for now. Here's a container with, like, I had planted a sunflower seed here. Accidentally, that came up. And I will have to take it out of this bag sometime soon, like within the next days. It's just too big. At some point, it will form a huge root system, and just the seedlings have no space, so I need to take it out. Okay. In this one, healthy looking seedlings, actually. I like it. Really nice. Let's have a look at the label, what that says. By the way, yesterday's seedlings I moved to the heater. We have been sowing out yesterday. So if you want to see that, check that out in yesterday's stream. And they are at the heater now. Oh, this is Lobivia winteriana. Here's a seedling that I probably tripped over. Here's another one, a small one, also fell over, but I don't think that the roots are the problem. I don't think that this is a fungus gnat situation. I think this is just handling a container. Every now and then you throw something over, it just happens. Okay, next one. Also very dry everything. This is washed pumice, okay? And it's washed pumice in a closed bag. Now look at it. Look at it. It's completely white. And when pumice is white, it's usually dry. So this is in a closed bag. And that is how you can sometimes have them in a closed bag, but they are losing substance over weeks or months. Just because the pumice is so fast draining, the water can't really stay there where it needs to be at the roots. And that is why in the first months, I actually prefer an organic soil. Later on, when they may be twice as big as they are now, this would be perfect. This would be perfect if they were a little bigger. But right now, they're still a bit too young for that kind of fast drainage, super drainage. So yeah, the washed pumice is great, but not at every age. Sometimes they just need that humidity. These are looking good. Nice spines here. A little bit too deep in the pot. But actually, if you look at it, you can see spines. You can see them actively growing. The soil is a little bit too puffy, like from the structure. It's too high towards the top of the seedling. So I'm trying to get it a little bit pressed down, just to make sure that the seedlings are not in contact with soil all the time. The top of the seedlings aren't in contact with soil. The root needs to be somewhat wet. Shouldn't dry out completely in the beginning. Like, you can do it, but it's a fine line. So in this case here, I press the soil a little bit downwards, and now it gives the seedlings a little bit more light also. Apart from that, yeah, they are too deep in the pot. Again, check it out. There's maybe 2 centimeters, 3 centimeters that I could have filled with soil if I wouldn't have been so greedy. And I'm not sure if greedy is the right word. I wanted to save, okay? I wanted to conserve. But it's sometimes not a good idea. That little bit of soil wouldn't have really made the difference. Okay, this also washed pumice, not looking good. Here's a seedling that was attacked by fungus gnats. Return of the fungus gnats. But the others look okay. The thing is, you never know which seedling already took damage earlier on when it was still in the organic soil. You always lose some in the first couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks after transplanting. Okay, these are looking good. These stood out really nice. It's one of my favorite crosses this year, just because they look so great. Look so spiny already. Really good. And the soil is dry. Seedlings are looking good. The container is too full. But apart from that, really nice. I like it. Closing it up again. Uwe Kahle hybrid, by the way, with Caesar La. We'll see how that goes. For now, it goes great. Okay. Ugh. See what I mean? Like if you look at it now with the moss, see how it turns everything into a swamp? The swamps of Dagobah. That is how it looks like. I'm just waiting for Yoda to come out there. So yeah. I consider just transplanting them, but for now, I will remove a little bit of the moss. I want that jungle out of there. Need to give the seedlings a little bit room around the roots. They shouldn't be like dry. The root needs humidity. The root needs a little bit of contact with the soil. And if the moss is only at a little part of the root, it wouldn't matter. But the moment you have that kind of moss surrounding the seedling, it takes away light. It traps humidity. It takes away space where the seedling could grow, and you don't see what's happening at the root. You might have something that is damaging the roots and you wouldn't even know it. You would find out later when suddenly you're losing more and more seedlings. And I don't want it to get to that point. The moss will almost certainly come back. But until then, the seedlings have an advantage. Okay, check it out. It looks better now. I like it more. And the more experience you have as a breeder, the more often you just look at something and you know what's going to happen. You know that if you do that, this will happen. You know that if you have moss, it will change the pH, it will change the humidity, it will lead to a chain of events that usually goes down the same path. And yeah, that is experience. You look at something, you have seen the outcome many times. And of course, the same won't happen every time, but there's a high likelihood it will go down like that again. You just learn how a certain problem tends to bring out a certain even bigger problem. Okay. In this one, this is the last one, by the way. Small, very small, but healthy looking so far. And this is from Bamboy, I guess. So I'm watching this cross with interest. Make me proud, my little friends. Who knows, maybe they are going to win Hybrid of the Year one day. This is from one of my own crosses, and I see a lot of potential in it. I only have like 5 seedlings, 5-6 seedlings. Maybe 6 or 7. But apart from that, there's potential. Okay, so this was the seedlings for today. I also brought a bunch of bags with seeds that I wanted to clean. So let me have a closer look at everything here. This is a hybrid cross from 2022. Wörlitz Candicans Buena Vista. I just forgot to clean it, apparently. So let's take it out here. Oh no, this was seedlings that I sorted out. Okay, these will go into the trash. Next one. Here's a fruit by Anemone, Lobelia hybrid Anemone. Hybrid by Willi Wessner, the father of Andreas Wessner. At least that's what I heard. Okay, I see 3 seeds. That is it, 3 seeds. Oh no, here's more, good. Sometimes when you have a completely dry fruit, it might as well be a stone. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 15 seeds when we're done. But that is okay. I like anemone. Maybe we will get seedlings from it. It's already a little bit too old, but I want to try it out. If this is from 22 also. It is good that I'm doing the live stream because I often do the cactus work that I would otherwise not do. So that is great. Gives me a way to just share something with the community, put some energy into something, and also get something done here. Do positive work. Okay. Almost threw them away. Here's the seeds. You can see very, very few. I would bag them now, and maybe we're sowing them out. I really like anemone. Anemone is a Lobelia yayoana hybrid, Echinopsis yayoana, black throat on the flower. And when I say throat, I mean there's a ring, a black ring around the base of the flower. And that looks impressive. That looks great. And that black throat, very often, you have a hard time getting it into columnar cacti. There aren't that many hybrids with black throat and columnar, columnar body. There are some, one of them being witchcraft, that hybrid, but apart from that, it's a lot rarer. You just have to use the right plants. So, anemone. Sometimes you just need 1 or 2 seedlings. Okay, next one. What's this? This is a hybrid with Rosa California. Rosa California and others. Okay. At some point, everything will be completely dry. Better to clean them right away. But in this case, it was just so many seeds. At some point, you can't really clean them all in time. You are constantly doing something. Okay. But this needs cleaning up. But overall, it's a good kind of hybrid. I like that plant. I've shown it on the channel. It has this glowing kind of flower. Very good hybrid. Could be great for breeding, could be a great parent. I'm not sure. But so I need to really just trust my gut, and my gut tells me that this could be great, that the offspring of this could be great, that I should probably put more energy into growing them. So just trying to get rid of the dirt and everything that's gotten into these, like the remnant from the fruit that I just crushed, basically. And when you clean them like this, it just increases the chance that there will be a fungal infection. So always better to clean them under running water and let that dry. But you need a lot of space for that. And I often try to clean as much as I can just by hand. And for the ones that I really need to do a proper cleaning, I can focus on them, washing them under the sieve, letting them dry. In this case, I consider doing a second wash, like a real wash with water. I feel like it would probably increase the viability. Maybe 100 seeds. Quite a lot of rather flat seeds also. Okay, looking pretty clean already. See, we're coming to the point when there's mostly seeds on this piece of paper. I always try to get rid of everything that can contaminate when you're sowing out. And we're on a good path here. What kind of a plant was it? Oh yeah, Rosa California hybrid. So this morning I watched a show called Winning Time, Rise of the LA Lakers. I liked it. Great cast, actually. They had like a very stacked kind of cast, also with Adrian Brody. And I'm not really watching basketball, not at all. I have no idea about basketball, but I really like the show. Okay. I think we can bag them. These are looking pretty clean. When I'm sowing out, I would still do another cleanup, but this is already looking very good. So I'm bagging them up now. And again, maybe 100 seeds, maybe a little bit more, 150. Rosa California. And it has 5 different parents, this hybrid. But Rosa California being one of the most famous ones. And this could be great. This is the type of plant that you just have to sow out. Cleaning up a little here. So, and the fruit was on August 25th. That's when it was harvested. I will write that onto the bag, just so I know which kind of a fruit it was. Okay, next one. This is Paul Ehrlich. And the plant had one tiny fruit, really small. One bigger and one that was super tiny. And this could be the small one. And the size was so small because it had Lobivia as a father. This is pretty hard like stone at this point. They turn into raisins and more. They don't have a lot of the smaller Lobivia kind of fruits. They have very little organic material when you dry them later. I can't even tell if I'm fully in the fruit or not now. It's all one mass. Okay, I think I don't see more than 10 seeds. And that tells you about genetic health, genetic proximity. This is a Gräser hybrid, Gräser follow-up hybrid. It's not one by Robert Gräser. It's a hybrid by someone else. And I don't know by who. But it's a hybrid with Aporocandicans, I think. And yeah, Lobivia, I had good experiences with crossing Lobivia and Gräser hybrids. They work. But in this case, something in the cross did not really play out the way I had planned it. And when I say that, I mean we still have 10 seeds. We could maybe grow these and eventually have that one hybrid that is insane, you know, like that kind of stuff that you see when, Vishnu, all these intergeneric hybrids that where you see that they are very distant, the parents that are involved. So maybe we will grow them. One seedling, one plant that gets big can be enough. In this one here, I mostly see very small seeds, non-developed seeds. Even the seeds that are that have developed, they are very small. I will bring them. I will collect them because there are so few seeds that I can really be can't really have so high expectations. Maybe they will still come up despite the fact that the seed corn is so small. I will give them a chance. Life's all about giving chances sometimes. So we will try it out. But I'm not really loving the idea to use one container just for 1 or 2 seedlings. I just don't like that. I always try to max out the space that I have. And I'm already taken back a little when I see that I only have 1 or 2 seedlings of something. In the end, this looks like we might not even get 10. Here's a seed corn that's so small that it will not come up. I can feel it. Sometimes you can feel it lifeless. Okay, let me count how many seeds we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 seeds. So we have to make it count when I'm sowing out. Here's another seed that I sorted out. I will take that back. 13, and here's another one, 14. Okay, 14 seeds. Would be better if I found another one that it is a better number. Let me see, here's one. I found one, so it's 15 seeds. That is so much better. That makes me so much calmer. Oh no, here's another. No, okay, good. So 15 seeds, and I would sow them out on the stream sometime soon. Not now, because I need to get new soil again. Need to get new containers. And for now, the channel, like the savings are limited. Let's call it that. But I want to sow these out sometime soon. Hey Robert, welcome to the stream. Great to have you around. Paul Ehrlich, fruit number 3, 2025. So how's it going? Hope you are all right. Okay, let's cleaning up first here, trying to create somewhat of an illusion that this is a clean workplace. It doesn't have to be clean, it just has to look clean. Okay, what's next? Camusina hybrid. Let's see. Camusina hybrid. Echinopsis camusina hybrid. Pseudolobivia is that kind of, former Pseudolobivia. They're not using that name anymore, I guess. But I really feel like when you see the plants, when you see something like Echinopsis camusina, and when you see something like Echinopsis opropanda, you will clearly see that they are not the same as Echinopsis sensu stricto with just the clumping Echinopsis. They are different kind of plants. So in my opinion, they should belong into a separate genus. Just because they are so different. They are making this, when you look at all the different genera that they made up, new genera, some of them, there's not so many differences between them than the differences between Echinopsis camusina and the clumping Echinopsis like Echinopsis irisi or something like that, So it would make sense to split them up, but it's not my problem. I don't deal with that. I don't deal with like name recognition, naming plans, and that's the kind of stuff that I want nothing to do with anymore. I'm just not really. Every now and then, when you make a great hybrid, you give it a name, but like in the past, people tried to desperately describe cacti to attach their name to it, to just say, okay, I made that description, and I find it pathetic. I just can't really find myself in that mindset. Having to, make a name for yourself just by naming a plant after yourself, If someone wants to honor you and they name a plant after you, that is great. I would say, okay, thank you very much. But I wouldn't go out, describe different kind of cacti to justify creating a new species, a new hybrid, a new genera, whatever. It's always a certain type of person that does it, that seeks it out. In my opinion, I wouldn't do it. If I describe plants, it's because I have to and not because I want to. Like when I'm doing a book and I have a description that I wrote, it's because the book wouldn't be complete without a description. It's not to create names. So, and I opened this thing here. Let me show you. This is the outcome. I opened this fruit, Echinopsis camusina, and this is all that was in it. Tiny dust These things here, these tiny, looks like, I don't know, bug eggs, whatever. It's basically non-developed seeds. And it's full of that. Just non-developed seeds consistently. Yeah, I mean, look, in the past there were so many different opinions in the cactus literature. People used to disagree a lot in the past. Today we have the chance to look into the genetic into genetic studies and see how the family tree branches out. Back then they didn't have that. And yeah, there were some authors that were just in it to become famous, to make a name, you know. I don't want to single particular people out, because I feel like it's been a thing in the whole industry for like 100 years. So I'm just glad that right now, I don't know, people are a little bit more hesitant about that, you know, because the past there were so many species that were described that did not deserve to be described, that should not have gotten a name. You often had that in the past, and I think we learned a little from our mistakes. Just a little, but we did it. Okay, so these are, again, this is just trash. I didn't see one viable seed in there. So this is total loss here. You often have that. You often have a fruit that is empty. Next one, this is Humcus roro. In the sowing out videos that I did, every time I open something and say this is genetically bad, then it's Humcus roro. But it's such a beautiful flower. It's such a beautiful hybrid. So I can't even trash it when I should. I can't be too hard on it. You can't really make a cross that is two completely different plants and be mad when it's not genetically super healthy. In this case here, I see maybe 10 seeds, and that is good. Humcus roro, the fruits are only tiny. They are little dwarfs among the cactus fruits. Biggest kind of fruit that, like, in regards to seed count, from Humcus roro, maybe 60 to 100 seeds. That's the maximum that I ever had. And in most cases, it comes out at maybe 20 seeds, 10 to 20 seeds. In this case, it was fewer. And it always depends on what kind of a father you use. I'm sure there are different parents that you could use that would produce very healthy offspring with Humcus roro, but it might actually be something like a Hildewinterer or a classic Echinopsis, since that is what the parents are in that hybrid. With one of each, you will probably get a super healthy fruit. But with the type of crosses that I'm trying to do, you know, when I say, okay, I see Humcus roro, what does it need? It needs to be columnar. It needs to have that flower of Humcus roro on a columnar body. That is how I approach Humcus roro. And then that's the kind of offspring that you get, you know. You can play it safe, but I haven't gotten here by playing it safe. I haven't really succeeded by just not risking anything. What brings the seeds if it's the same cross that you did 5 times and you wouldn't even sow it out yourself? I personally believe every cross that I do, if I wouldn't sow it out, I'm not doing it. And in most cases it works. I have these, you know, every now and then you make a cross and you realize, okay, maybe I was a little bit over enthusiastic about it afterwards, and that often happens when you see other offspring from that plant. You know, you live and learn. But most of the crosses that I make, almost all, I would sow out myself. Otherwise, I wouldn't do the cross. Then I would do a different kind of cross where I would see more success, more chances of success. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 seeds. 9 seeds by Humkes Roro. And it's one of many, many different fruits that I have, I think. And we will see, maybe, when I'm sowing these out, they could be genetically superb. They could be, you know, beautiful. You never know. You never know unless you sow them out. Later today, I might have to remove snow again from the sidewalk. Sometimes I try to be a productive citizen, productive neighbor. This is for cleaning. Okay, so this is Gräsers Überraschung. Ika, Dessau, and Gräsers Überraschung, I think. Ugh. So there's parts of the flower that came with it. So I need to take that out first. So this is the flower, the remnants of the flower. I often remove that from the fruit because once everything dries, you then suddenly have these kind of flower trash. They often just dissolve, and it's kind of hard to distinguish it from seeds. Like, you can see the difference, but you would have to do it for every seed corn. You would have to single out everything and distinguish between seed and not seed. Okay, so this is the fruit. Check it out, hairy. Looks like a bug. And I'm opening it up now, so we will see how that will go. Could be empty, could be full of seeds. It doesn't feel empty, but it could be. Okay. It crumbles. It's completely dry. It's easier to clean them when they aren't completely dry. When you dry it, you always have like a big mess. It's like you're scraping dust out of a stone. It would have been easier to clean it while it was fresh. But yeah. Sometimes you're just not. Life is just weird. Sometimes there's so much stuff that you need to do. And cleaning seeds isn't really one of my top priorities. I do it because it's part of the job. But it's not that I say, hey guys, today we are going to clean some seeds. It's a dirty job. Very often when you wait too long, then you have to really invest work to get it cleaned. This case, I'm not even sure if we have viable seeds here. I'm currently leaning towards just not doing anything with the seeds here. I will put it on a piece of paper so I can take a closer look at it. But this looks bad. Genetically bad. Also multi-hybrid. It's not that they are all bad. It's just we are making really advanced kind of crosses here. We are really making crosses that have a high chance of failure every time. So it's not that most hybrids are genetically poor. It's just that I didn't make all these safe crosses. I knew 10 different ways to pollinate it safely, but I wanted to do that one cross that could have brought out something interesting, something unique, you know. And then you have to risk that you have genetically weak seedlings from time to time. Here's one seed that could be viable. Here's another one. Here, this is flat. Here's one, but very small. Here's one. I would just try to sort out the viable seeds, but it doesn't seem like even the ones that have developed in this cross, even those look bad. But I think we can get a few seeds, maybe 10. If we get 10 seeds, that would be good. Okay. Yeah, okay. I will bag the few seeds that I put aside here, but it's really just a few. And again, in this case, this was Ika Dessau Gräsers Überraschung. Interesting hybrid, multi-hybrid. And I've made crosses with it before. Last year I had one that flowered, and it was good. It was nice. There was a reason why I have this, why I've kept this plant. It produces similar flowers than a hybrid called Dessauer Stern. Stern von Dessau has a beautiful golden throat, really nice flower. And this kind of hybrid you can get with it. That's why I have it. The only reason to have that, to get such a kind of a flower. Yeah, okay. The rest is trash. This goes into the trash bag. Barely any seeds in there. And, you know, they might not even come up. Here's the parrot, the father, by the way. So the mother was Ika Dessau Gräsers Überraschung. And the father is a hybrid called PNO 2081. And I think it was a hybrid with Schaffery Yellow. And Schaffery Yellow was so dominant. It was only the father in that hybrid, but it came out very, like the offspring looked like the father. Okay, so this is Humkes Roro. I think we had that one, no? No? I'm not sure. But I really think we cleaned it. Here's one seed that's falling out. 2 seeds. This is from Humkes Roro. So I can add these to the other bag. They belong to that, I think. I had overlooked a bunch of seeds here. Yeah, at least then there's a few more. At least makes a little bit of sense to sow them out. Okay. So I guess I would probably go offline very soon. My battery usually fails at around this time. I'll stay online for a little longer. Let me see how much energy I still have left. Oh, I have a little bit left, so I will continue just cleaning a little bit more. At some point, I would just go offline, but for now, it works. Hey, welcome to the stream. This is an empty bag. Okay, next one. What's this? Loxanthinopsis. Okay, that is good. Hybrid between Loxanthocereus and Echinopsis by breeder Andreas Wessner. Good hybrid, but you also got to see, like, it is a Loxanthocereus hybrid. Loxanthocereus with Echinopsis. And I couldn't tell you how that mother plant, how that Loxanthocereus looked like. It could look like just like the hybrid, but I'm not sure. But just by looking at it, it's a great plant, great hybrid. I like it. fruit just crumbles away and is full of seeds. That is good. I like that. These, I want to really sow them out. This is the type of stuff in the future I want to stay on them. I want to ride them, like stay on their back, really stay on them and keep an eye on it until they are big enough that they will not get lost again. I have a bunch of seedlings and these are cold sensitive. So I might have to grow them indoors until they are big enough. Sometimes when you're growing something that is cold sensitive, then you have problems bringing it out early in spring. So you can lose a lot. You go through all the work to grow them indoors over winter. And then spring arrives or summer arrives and you bring them out and they don't make it because they are still too sensitive to overwatering, especially when, like, in cold weather, you can get that combination of cold and wet that is really too much for them. So I would try to keep these indoors. One thing that really happens is that breeders make great crosses that are amazing, but they never sow them out, or when they sow them out, they just don't stay on top of it. And I will try to do it this time with the channel, with the stream. I would really try. Would be great to raise a bunch of good plants on this stream, you know, that we can say, hey, this was first on the stream, on the live stream. But we're still a few years away from that. Okay. But this is a full fruit, I guess maybe 50 seeds, maybe more. A lot of dirt still in it. And that is because the fruit just fell apart. So now I'm trying to clean it on a piece of paper, just rolling the seeds around, and the seeds are round and they will just roll to the side and a lot of the dust stays in center. That allows me to clean it a little bit. It's not as effective as when you do it underwater. And usually you use a combination of both. You first clean them underwater and then you do what I do here. And also this is what a seed seller would do, constantly going through the seeds, cleaning it. During the bagging, you just don't pack dirty seeds. That is something that you wouldn't do. There are people that do it, but just because they haven't been told not to. It's just the kind of experience that you make long term. Okay. Okay. Really getting clean now already. So this was pretty fast. Worked pretty well to clean this by hand. And I want to sow them out sometime soon. Coming to a galaxy near you very soon. I want to sow them out within the next couple of months. You can really see how fast the winter has already progressed. The seedlings are growing fast. At some point, you are losing time. It makes sense to sow out in winter because it gives your seedlings an advantage, a time advantage that you would otherwise not have. You would start to sow out in May, June, July, and during that time, you only have a few months for the seedlings to grow, and then you've reached the end of the summer. They go into winter and are tiny. That is not good. If you can prevent it, you should do it. They can survive the winter even when small, but very often you just lose a bunch of seedlings here and there that you wouldn't lose otherwise. If you just, you know, invest that little bit of extra time, start early. That is generally good advice. No matter what job you are doing, arrive early. Be prepared. Okay. I almost have everything cleaned here. There's still a bunch of dirt that's mixed in between, but I got most of it out. And most of the seeds, also viable seeds. This isn't like with some of the others where you had flat kind of seeds that where you can already tell that this is going to be a waste of time. This has potential. Okay, Luxantinopsis. The plant flowered the whole year last year, and I think I had 5-6 fruit on it. Hey, great to have you around. The streams are still there if you want to catch up. But also nothing really ever changes, so you can always just jump in and continue, and it will be similar. I'm always sowing out new stuff here, so there's never really a point when it's over. Hey, good morning. Great to have you. I'm cleaning Luxantinopsis seeds. Okay, this is it. This is enough. Forgot one seed, but apart from that, Luxantocerois, by the way, it's actually pretty similar to Cactus, but also not. In my opinion, it's a genuine, correct kind of genus. And Cactus is another genus that is very close to it. The way I understood it, both plants, both genera are so similar. They are mainly distinguished by locality. That one genus grows in one country on the border, and the others grow in the other. But they are pretty close. They could be closely related. But I think there were good arguments to keep them separate as correct genera. Like I said, Luxantocerois and Cactus. Slightly different, mostly because they might share a common ancestor, but they developed a little bit differently at different sites. But genetically, I'm sure you can show that they would be pretty close. Okay. Next one. I think this was it. Cleaned quite a lot today. I have one or two here. This says Lobevia, and what this says Splash crossed with another Lobevia. I will clean these because that was a nice flower. That Splash hybrid, I really like that. Just cleaning a little bit more. I overlooked a bunch of viable seeds here, and I try to not waste them. You never know when you need them. One seedling can make the difference, you know? Okay. And these will also go into the Luxantinopsis bag. Okay. So I think I will do this this splash fruit Splash, a hybrid, I think by Jürgen Theisinger. Lubivia hybrid, I believe it was by Jürgen, but I'm not entirely sure. And yeah, the flower was great. Has a nice flower, very useful for breeding, but very tiny fruit. This is the fruit, the dried fruit. I saw that three seeds were falling out, and here are a few more. But I don't think that we will get more than maybe 10, 15 seeds here. Lubivia hybrid splash. And I had one that I grafted, and it was one of the grafts that I had. It took, but it never went anywhere, really. So I tried to regraft it at some point, and then I lost it. But it's a good plant. It's a good hybrid. I never really had the urge to have another one, but it's good. You can really, when you see the flower, it's tiny and all, but could be very useful for hybrid breeding because it has that kind of a washed out color pattern that is really hard to get, that you mostly see in Lubivia. A lot of those Thailand Lubivia hybrids, they have very intricate kind of flower patterns. So these could be great nonetheless. This is just 10 seeds maybe, but one plant could be enough. One plant that is flowering. And the goal here with them is to get that flower into Trichocereus, into a columnar plant, into something with a bigger flower. Because the Lobivia flowers are so small, I want to raise the flower size. I want to increase it. So I want to sow these out. Okay. In the next couple months, I need to really invest time going through seeds. We would have to just go through seeds and find stuff for sowing out. Because I know that there are great things in between everywhere. Sometimes it's old seeds. Sometimes it's seeds from 2022, 2023, but they are so good that it can make sense to grow them. And I want to try that. So yeah. Okay, guys, this is probably the end of my stream. Got a lot of stuff done today. I'm very happy. Thank you for being here. Thank you for having taken time out of your day. Thank you. A record to recommend by Metallica. I really liked Master of Puppets. I really liked Master of Puppets. In my opinion, it's the best. Apart from that, I also loved Ride the Lightning. The earlier ones, not the very first ones, but maybe the third and fourth and fifth album. Those in between the very early kind of thrash metal and the later more pop kind of album, like the Black album. I still remember when it came out and it was so successful. But to me, that's when Metallica kind of dropped off. They did some great stuff, even afterwards. But the best ones, in my opinion, around like Master of Puppets, Ride the Lightning. If you haven't heard them, they are great. I had them like this summer. I really spent time just listening to the early Metallica albums again and trying to, I don't know, I haven't heard them all. There were some in between that I always miss. So right now, next spring, in summer, it will continue. And I recommend it. They're great. Also, I heard a lot of other thrash metal kind of stuff. Megadeth was really nice. I had a lot of fun with them this year, like just listening to that kind of music when my life was falling apart. You know, I was sitting outside in the sun and listening to when I get up in the morning. You know, you get kind of bad news about divorce, and then you put on like just noise. That was a great time that I had in summer. Kind of got back to music a little bit. So yeah, I'm a fan. Okay, guys. Thank you. Thank you for participating in my stream. I will be back tomorrow. And tomorrow we will continue to check containers, cleaning seeds. The other soil hasn't dried fully yet, but we will do that in the next days. And maybe I will bring a few plants from the greenhouse again. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for always making this so great. Take care.